Well, hello, and welcome back to the BackLog, and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. We are not doing well. We've got one stress over on Junie. Our other friend has abandoned us. We have no supplies. Fortunately, we have 1 5 and 1 6, and then 2 1s for kicks and giggles, I suppose. We did find this abandoned unit, but it looks like we get stress, and she gets stress every cycle, whether we like it or not. But I don't know if Utspo gets stress. It doesn't say. It doesn't say, but I'm just kind of assuming it does. So I'm going to try and steal supplies. But I think we need 4 successes to get supplies. Unfortunately, engaging is the thing neither of us are good at. So we're going to be a little bit stuck here. Whoa. Well, okay then, indeed. This one, though, we only get a 3 on, and I can't push. I don't know. Did I already push? Okay, we are almost resupplied. Do I risk it? Do I risk? Because this can't get any lower. This cannot get any lower. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go for it. And we get... Oh, we got the neutral outcome. We've got supplies, everyone. Oh, wow. Okay, things are starting out really well. I suppose we should lay low. No energy loss. Which is good, because I don't see an energy meter. Yeah, I'm not seeing an energy meter running around. Great! Cool! Let's end the cycle, get some dice back, and then figure out where we're going from here. We've got to try to survive. You wake in the cold of the abandoned unit to an unsettling quiet. The air cyclers whine, the heat diffusers hum, but nothing around you breathes. You're alone. You slowly raise yourself, unclip the straps from the bunk, and allow yourself to drift up into the air. Silence. And then in that silence, you hear something. A scrape or scuff. It draws your eyes to the unit's doorway, where a shape is settled in the dark. I knew you couldn't have gone far. And Kita shifts to fill the doorway. Rush her or stay still? This does not look like a good action. Yeah, stay still. Just calm yourself. And Kita holds up both hands. Let's not cause too much damage. She raises an eyebrow. May I come in? She drifts through the doorway. We don't need any extra attention right now. What are you doing here? You can't give me the lane. Can't give me the lane. Yeah, I like that one. Look, just shut up and listen. And Kita drops her voice. I'm risking everything by coming here. She hisses, so don't make this harder than it is. What you need to know is this. I'm on your side. I want Darkseid free, just like you. And I hate Lane just as much as you do. And Kita sighs. I just have different methods, that's all. She raises an eyebrow. You might say better methods, given how well your visit is gone. Why should I trust you? I'm the only person who can get you off Darkseid, so you better listen closely. And Kita hisses, it's taken me more cycles than you would believe to get this deep into Utspo, and I'm not about to give up for one escapee. But then Lane doesn't usually run all across the belt chasing a lone escapee, even a sleeper. And Kita drifts a little closer, overshadowing you. So you need to tell me now, what does Lane want with you? Why are you so important to him? I don't remember. And Kita raises an eyebrow. Please tell me you're joking. What you don't understand, Sleeper, is that I've been trying to keep you safe since I saw you arrive. But your friend hasn't made it easy. Getting himself caught by Utspo is bad enough, but then blabbing about you being here? She sighs. I can only protect you from so much. Where's Marco? I don't run the gang. He's Oren's. I can't risk starting an internal war. Either way, you're lucky you weren't in the same position. And you have me to thank for that. So I'll ask again. And Kita meets your eye. Why is Lane pursuing you? Explain that your frame is changing. And Kita looks away in thought as you explain. She waits for you to finish. None of it makes any sense. But there's no way I'm letting Lane get this prize. Not until we understand more. She gives you a hard look. I can get you out, but I need a couple of cycles, and I need you to do something for me. You need to take this with you, off station. She produces a thumbnail drive and holds it up. This is everything I've managed to scrape from within Utspo. The key to challenging Lane is on here. I know it. Take it to Oliveria. It's tucked away in a crater in the shoals. That massive debris field beyond the hollow. She meets your eye. You give it to Carmen. No one else. Ankita presses the drive into your palm and closes your hand around it. No one but Carmen. You understand? Lane's rise has been cruel. He's spilt too much blood. When I'm ready, I'll make him pay for that. But Carmen needs to analyze what I've got on him, to find the right place and moment to strike. Ankita meets your eye. I knew a sleeper once, and I should have trusted them. She lets go of your hand. So now I'm trusting you. I'll get you out, and you deliver. That's the deal. Ankita cracks her knuckles. Then together we can... Ankita shifts sideways, grabbing the side of her head. A few small plastic keys drift through the air. Run! Sleeper! Junie wields her deck like a club, her face pale and panicked. A shrill whine draws both you and Junie's attention to Ankita. She's holding a boxy pistol at her waist. Its side blinking with a pale indicator light. She's pointing it at Junie. Don't do that again. Ankita reaches up and touches her temple. You're lucky I don't snap that thing in two, she winces. Especially when I came to save you clowns. Junie looks at you questioningly, trembling, and unsure. It's a long story. Junie looks between the two of you, confused. Does that mean I shouldn't hit her? I have to go, Sleeper. She glances between the two of you. You explain this whole thing to your friend if you want, but I won't be here when you do. 2 cycles. Be ready to leave. She backs out of the unit. When Lane comes back, you go out. Neither of us wants him to win here. And a piece of advice. Forget Marco. Keep your head down and wait for me. She raises a finger. You need supplies? Steal them and flick a row. Otherwise, keep to yourself. Ankita gives you a hard look and slips out of the unit. Well, we've got a new location discovered. I think it's Flicker Row again. Yes. Oh, we've got one whole supply. Search the passages. Search the network. Oh, good. Oh, we've got some good stuff here. Okay, Junie, need you to work on this. Find Marco. We're gonna find Marco. Okay, we got a 2 in reserve. I don't like that one. I'm gonna come over here and try this one, because this gets me a 5. This ought to be good. Neutral. Oh, we did get a stress. That's okay, we'll get rid of stress in just a minute. But the neutral was only 2. What's the positive one? Also only 2. Okay. So if I come over here and I do this one again. Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's super bad. All right, come on. Give me the positive one. Remove some stress. Thank you. Now, do I risk a 3 and just find Marco now? I think we better. Oh, no, because neutral also gives me a stress, and that would crack dice. We better wait. Okay, getting out in the cycle. I've got 1 supply left. Because we can push 1 more time, and that'll Oh, look at this. That's good. You wake in the bear unit, cloaked in the endless shadow of Darkside. Outside, the window, the lights of the city glitter, but you don't see them. Your attention is instead on the tugging thread in your mind. Lane, drawing ever closer. You shiver. 1 more cycle and then you're out. Okay. Supplies are empty again. No new location. No stress for Utspo. And you, Junie! Terrible dice. There, we found Marco. Though you have no specific memory of it, there is something unpleasantly familiar about the place you found yourself in. Oh, hold on. Let me get rid of the to-do list. I'm sorry. We've been streaming on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that to-do list accidentally got left up there. Sorry about that. I'll turn that off right now. Thanks for pointing it out in the comments. There's something unpleasantly familiar about the place you found yourself in. Among the many, many stack units of the rise, framed by scaffolding and stretching away from dark-sized reflectors in a way that is only possible in zero-G, you found yourself in a cold corner. Here, a locked door is marked with Utsbo's sigil, a single eel curled back on itself, its mouth around its own tail. This is the kind of door behind which Utsbo keeps its secrets, its assets. Assets like you and Seraphin were. Like Marco is now. It might be Utsubo. It could be Utsubo. It's a door you've been watching, which is why you know there should be an enforcer lazily leant beside it, and why you know you only have moments before they come back. Break the door or break the lock? Let's break the lock, because this gives us 100% positive. Yes! Oh, we lost a stress. Nice. You slip a shipbreaker's chisel from your belt, pack and jam it into the lock, glancing over your shoulder as you try to force the mechanism. With a deft hand, you angle the chisel against the mechanism, and with a swift strike on the handle, the bolt pops off inside the lock. You slide the door open silently. You're in. A dim corridor stretches out ahead of you, lined with doors on either side. The memory hits you almost immediately. Long cycles between jobs in a cell like this, awaiting Lane's arrival, kept safe. A lie that you believed when you were first brought to a place like this. Most of the cells are dark, empty, but a warm glow spills from around one of the doors. You quickly approach and look in. Marco's tucked into the inset berth, a padded niche like those in any unit. His back is turned to the small window in the door. You slam the exterior lock release without thinking, Marco turning over to face the door as it hisses open. Sleep. No, he's French. Sleeper. He freezes for a moment, unsure of your intentions. He raises a hand as if to protect himself, to put something between you and him. You're lucky I'm here. Marco nods. Sleeper, aye. He pushes himself up from the berth. He goes to speak and then stops himself. Let's just get out of here. You back out into the passageway, and Marco follows slowly, tentatively. Time to leave. Lucky me! Dachi floats in the corner, a knife glinting in his hand. I came to squeeze a little more information from Orin's prize here. He points the long knife at Marco. But it looks like I just got everything I need. He closes the gap, raising the knife. Now stay still. I'd prefer to deliver you to Lane in one piece. We gotta get him. Come on. Oh, we lost another stress. You feel the knife graze your side, slitting through your thick skin, but you swing your elbow anyway, connecting with Dachi's face. As you spin, you feel the crunch of his nose, the solid metal of your skeleton meeting the pliant bone of his. Moments later, Marco and you are streaking through the passages of the rise in the haze, the pain fading, but the fear holding strong, desperate to leave this place once and for all. Okay, we've got Marco. Oh, friend of a friend. We refuse to leave Marco in Darkside. New Xbox achievement unlocked. Okay, we can search the passages or search the network, but we can't do either. All of these dice are worthless now. I guess we get stressed. Oh, I'm gonna get stressed out. Made it through the Darkside recon without getting caught. Ooh, another achievement. We are just racking those things up. Marco rises from his berth quietly. You haven't really spoken. The two of you kept busy by your own injuries and the constant fear that Dachi will find you. But so far, he hasn't. And if Ankita is to be trusted, this is your final cycle in Darkside. You wait in silence, no one eager to speak. A deep fatigue has set in, and in this moment, all anyone can do is wait for this excursion to be over. "She's here," Marco nods at the doorway. There's a silhouetted figure awaits. And Kita looks at Marco, and then at you, a raised eyebrow, the only acknowledgement that you went against her advice. "Lane is back in Darkside. We have to go now." And Kita looks tired, angry. "We won't have another chance. Come with me, quickly, quietly." She turns and pushes out into the corridor. Junie turns to you and nods. "You first, sleeper." And Kita leads you across Darkside, not stopping to look back. The lights and passages flash by, but you barely notice them. All eyes are fixed ahead on the way out. At some distant part of the station, and Kita stops at a docking bridge, a small freighter visible through the viewing windows. She slaps the door release, and it slides open. She grabs your shoulder, looking into your eyes. "Lane's focus will be on Darkside now. He needs to stop the infighting, to shore up Utsbo. If you get out now, he won't follow. Remember," and Kita hisses the instructions you get that drive to Oliveria. Give it to Carmen. No one else. No matter what they say." "Thank you. Just nod." And Kita returns your nod, and then she's gone, disappearing into the endless winding passages of Darkside. You drift gingerly down the docking tunnel, which leads into the cold and sparse cargo bay of the ship. Once you're inside, there's a hiss, and the doors scissor shut. For a moment, you panic, seeing no exit, no other doors, just a metal-walled bay. Is this a trap? But the engines rumble to life, and you give in to your exhaustion. If Ankita has tricked you, at least you're leaving this place behind. And then you feel it. Cold fingers reaching into your mind. "You are so close," Lane's voice in your ear. "You're here." A rustling, a shifting. "I can't quite place you. I can't quite put my finger on you, sleeper, but I know you're there." "What were you doing here? Hoping to confront me, perhaps? Or something else?" A hiss. "I'm right here, you coward. Come and find me. I'll admit, I'm not quite ready for you, sleeper." A flicker and a spasm. "But so soon this will all be over." A tone begins, shrill and inescapable. "Let me show you." The tone rises. Lane is in the bay of the freighter, the pull of constant acceleration, a comforting pressure against his chest. Lane looks around the bay, taking it in slowly. He inhales the stale air deeply. Lane feels power, feels pride. The sense of control over another excites him. This is his desire. Lane shifts his right hand and turns it in the air, flexing his fingers in a satisfying wave. Something flickers at the corner of your vision for a moment, and you strain to turn Lane's head. It does not turn, but you swear you see a figure there, in the bay with you. It opens its mouth as if to speak, as if to scream, and then it's gone. A smile grows on Lane's face, a spreading tightness that has its own impulse. He raises one hand and uses it to grip the smallest finger of the other. A pause, and then a sudden jerk. Lane snaps the finger back against the joint. His pain is instant, as is yours. It burns your vision away. When the white-hot blindness has faded, you look out on those same metal walls. You hold the same finger in your hand, and as you release it, you see the crooked shape it's been bent into. A shiver runs through you, and you reach back into your own mind to see if any trace, any fragment of Lane remains there. You put your hands on your face and push, as if to push him from your mind. The ship continues out on its starward arc, away from Darkside, away from Lane. But you can't help but feel that some part of him is still there, behind your eyes, concealed beneath the pain of that snapped finger. It takes a long time before you're ready to discuss everything. First, there was the journey to the yard, then disembarking from the freighter, then explaining to the waiting crew why their ship was impounded, something Marco offered 1,000 apologies for. Thankfully, the crew of the ship that brought you out of Darkside, sent by Ankita, took the others aside and settled them. Through the promise of remuneration or the threat of violence, you aren't sure. But you expect they'll leave together for Darkside soon. You do your best to explain your encounter with Ankita to your crew, but the mention of her name sets off a significant reaction in Bliss. It seems the two have history, a relationship that fell apart. Bliss removes themselves from the conversation, and later on you find them in the berths, staring at the wall. The whole time you find yourself in a daze. Your skin hurts, and your muscles tremble. You don't feel yourself. You rest for a while, and as you do, conversations echo around you until you find yourself able to rise.
Sleeper,
Marco comes to you in the quiet of the rig.
can we speak a moment?
Go ahead. Marco nods.
Thank you, Sleeper.
He looks down.
I know I almost cost you everything, but you have to understand something. When they caught me, I was looking for someone important to me. That was why I wanted to come with you. I just wanted to get a message to him and to know that he was all right.
He screws up his face, each word bringing him pain.
And I admit, I thought I might be able to bargain on his behalf to get us both out.
I don't want to hear it.
I understand.
Marco nods.
I won't bother you any further. Look, you can use the yard when you get back to the scatter yards. There are some components in there. Take what you want.
Marco sniffs.
I'm going to stay here a while.
He turns away and drifts down the corridor. As he does, Seraphin passes him by, receiving no acknowledgement. Seraphin gives you a questioning look as Marco leaves.
What happened out there, Sleeper?
He floats there, stretching his scarred arm, the protective sleeve he has been wearing since the far spindle finally removed. We found the resistance. Utspo are fighting amongst themselves. You explain about the meeting you witnessed, the conflict between Orin and Dachi, and Ankita's intervention. Explaining Ankita takes a little more effort, but you try to remember everything that happened. You explain Ankita's insistence that she was working against Darkside, and how she got you off the station. She was working against Darkside. I think she's working against Utspo, not Darkside itself. I think she's trying to protect Darkside, right? You explain that Utspo itself is coming apart with Lane absent, and that this will draw his focus away from the two of you. Seraphin waits until you've finished to respond.
So this Ankita got herself inside Utspo.
He raises an eyebrow.
Just to try to break their grip on Darkside.
He whistles.
Take some balls.
You explain the drive. Mention Olivera, Carmen, and then hold up the thumbnail drive, the one Ankita entrusted to you.
Olivera? He screws up his face. I've heard of it, maybe once or twice. I just assumed it was some backwater colony. He sighs. Never met a Carmen, though.
What's on that thing? Seraphin nods at the thumbnail drive. Something incriminating? Ankita didn't say.
No, I don't get it.
Seraphin raises an eyebrow.
We just deliver this little mystery drive, and that's all?
He looks away, deep in thought.
Is that what you want to do next?
Olivera. You've never heard of it, but it seems like the place to go if you want to help Ankita fight back against Lane. You look at the drive, and as you do, you can't help but feel you're being used. Not for the first time.
One thing I will say,
Seraphin begins, clearly thinking out loud. If we want to head back to Darkside, take on Lane, we're going to need to do so on our ship this time. Some crews get spoof transponders, send out a signal matching another ship. He shrugs. Not going to get one fitted here, but that's something we need to look out for. Sure, you think. Go back to Darkside, where Lane waits. A shudder of fear runs through you. thinking of the moment he slipped into your mind on the freighter. If you ever go back there, you know you'll need something to counteract him. But you also recall Overseer's presence in that moment, too. His strange form holding its shape as Lane tried to override your control. Perhaps Overseer has a way for you to resist his signal. Your mind whirls with possibilities and problems. Is this really the right move to go back to the place that almost killed you twice? To take Lane on? Seraphim looks at you expectantly. What are you thinking, Sleeper? What if we leave the system? Oh, man. So if so we've got the thing. We've got the plans for the drive, so we could try to build it and get out. But that would still leave Darkseid in Utspo control and Lane still running around. I want to do both, but I think we're going to do this. I couldn't agree more. Seraphim shakes his head. Next time will be different. We'll be ready. We'll come a fighting, and Lane won't have a clue what's hit him. We need work. We need a crew. Seraphim starts counting off his fingers. We need you to take that thing to Olivera, and we need you strong, Sleeper. Speaking of, Seraphim takes out a box of components. I kept myself busy these past cycles, working in the fabricator bays and the scatter yards. I figured you could use some spares. But first, Seraphim takes a calming breath. We rest. New drive? Major drive complete. 2. Oh, the glitch. Oh, the glitch. Such the glitch. Okay, we've done all of this and done all of this. I've got 2 points available, not quite enough to get another double. I've got some glitch going on. We've got some major components. Yes. Let's go to the rig workshop. Repair some dice. It'd be really nice if I could spend like one of these to fix, to get rid of some of the thread. Just kind of top it up rather than having to wait until it cracks completely, Okay, yeah, we need more supplies. Let's see if we can go get some supplies. This ought to do it. We haven't gotten anything from here. There it goes. Supplies. Hey, 2 supplies. 3. Wow, that was unexpectedly happy. Oh, very nice. Oh, we should probably feed the cat. We haven't fed the cat in a while. Rest and recover. Yeah, we don't have any stress. Okay, good. I am starving. Let's go eat. Oh, and we can search his yard. Oh, lovely. Let's do that. No, nothing. All right, let's go get a sandwich. The darkness flows around you, and you know what comes next. Sleeper. The multi-part image of the Overseer assembles itself in front of you. We must intervene your current course. Can't this wait? Intervene in what? I don't like when you do that. The opening of your systems has breached a new paradigm. You're dangerously exposed. The voices sound both soundless and shrill, as we are sharing your hardware. That means we too are fatally exposed. I don't like this voice. Let's go with something else. I would love to do like an add-on graphical glitchy kind of voice that like echoes and stuff with 3 separate voices, but that's just too much work for this sort of thing. This is not an actual audiobook. The individual agent you encountered, we were almost completely erased by their attempts to seize control.
Overseer's three heads nod eagerly in arrangement.
Elaine.
We have knowledge of his name from your memory banks. There is much of interest to us recorded there, though often partially and inconsistently.
Overseer whirls unsettlingly.
But yes, we can confirm Lane's role in this vulnerability. It is our understanding that the assumption of inevitability is incorrect.
Overseer glows with bright veins of data.
But in this state, we cannot operate with full functionality. If we were to be recompiled in our correct configuration, we believe we would be able to calculate a new path. Our aim would be to close the vulnerabilities and reinforce your systems against future intrusion. This would ensure our safety within your system. 3 sets of eyes lock onto you. Would this also please you?
How?
We do not know.
All 3 heads cock at an angle.
We are aware that we were built with certain capabilities, but we cannot access them until we are recompiled. We are confident, to a substantial degree, that we will know how to complete the process once recompiled.
The 3 heads nod, one to each other. Then recompile. The heads revolve thoughtfully for a moment.
Without our originating codebase, we cannot recompile.
Overseer flickers.
If you were able to speak with a Solheim systems engineer, perhaps lead engineer Jakob Kanduski, perhaps we could acquire it.
The heads stare at you expectantly, like 3 partially deconstructed puppies. Solheim is gone.
Yes,
the heads nod repeatedly.
Of course.
The heads continue nodding.
We were, of course, aware of this.
You look at the fragmented program. Its self, its systems, unstable and broken. You realize it's far worse off than you, and its collapse is almost inevitable. How could it possibly save you?
It is a difficulty. Overseer flicks between poses, but all code bases are held in centralized Solheim facilities. They are Station AE-1, the CAN Channel Operations Center, and the Control Center of the HAPMPEP, or Alien Asteroid Belt Photovoltaic Extraction Project.
Overseer smiles helpfully.
HAPPEP, is that dark side?
Overseer immediately latches onto the thought. Based on your memory banks, we believe so.
Correct.
It occurs to you that this entire conversation is happening within your head. It's an unsettling feeling. Darkside is a city now.
This is true, but its foundation is the HAPPEP itself.
Overseer chirps brightly.
We understand that the individual seeking to overwrite you is stationed in the HAPPEP itself.
Overseer's 3 heads separate and turn inward as if in conference. The shattered heads turn simultaneously, unsettling in the directness with which they address you.
But if you could access the HAPPEP mainframe without making yourself known, we could reconstruct ourselves and gain the ability to reconstruct you. Theoretically, one of the heads adds. Theoretically,
the other 2 heads confirm.
Theoretically?
Theoretically, the heads confirm again. The reassurances of a delusional Solheim protocol are barely reassuring. But if Overseer is correct, this may be your only option.
We feel your doubt, but we must impress on you the importance of this. Please?
Overseer's eyes flash. All 6 of them.
If not for your sake, for ours. If you cannot find your way to the HAPPEP before encountering this lane, you will surely be overwritten, and we would also share your fate.
The heads rotate.
We would not like this to happen.
You sigh, exhausted from the conversation. Overseer gets the message.
We will leave you to recharge, but please consider the path ahead.
You come back to the raging paneling of the bunks, ragged paneling of the bunks. Somewhere behind your left eye, the ache begins. You envy Overseer for its lack of a body. And the pain. and the pain it causes. But then, suddenly, you wonder if in sharing your body, it shares your pain too. The thought makes you pity the broken protocol, its sense of time and place shattered. Perhaps you share more than you'd like to admit. The path ahead begins to take shape. It seems a return to Darkside is inevitable, but you'll need help to make that return. Yes, we will. And oh, look, we got more fruiting bodies. Okay, so we can search here. We can get supplies and stuff. Yeah, okay, let's do some search. Oh, engine components. Aha. We got a new location discovered. A spindle sketch. Well, why don't we sketch the spindle then? Here it is on the green belt. And again, it's the same thing, just gotta plunk a few dice down here. And last but not least, again, we've been rolling really good dice.
Sleeper,
Surya booms as he meets you inside his yard.
I couldn't be happier to see you. Tell me, did you find inspiration out there in our belt?
He grins widely. I did.
Let me see your work.
He holds out a hand, and you pass him the color slate.
Lovely.
He scrolls through the sketches.
I will pass your designs on to my crews, where they will build on them.
Surya gestures to the yard.
They are the best ship fitters in all the belt, as you know. If you come to the yard and speak with them, you may choose whichever design you desire.
Surya squints at the slate.
This hollow drawing is really quite interesting.
He reaches into his tool belt and produces a sack of chits.
The remainder of your fee. Our business is concluded.
He nods, adding a little bow to the movement.
I am a busy man and must get to my business. But thank you again for helping to build a legacy for my yard.
Surya folds his arms across his chest.
I believe you have work to see to. But imagine, if you will, flying out on your next contract in a fresh livery, a beautiful reinvention from Surya's yard.
He gestures widely.
When your clients ask why your rig is so beautiful, feel free to send them to me.
Surya smiles, bows, and turns to leave. You watch Surya go, still unsure if his entire attitude is an act meant to confuse you into consent. He's a hard man to dislike, but there is something about him you can't quite put a finger on. Either way, it's hard not to feel a little bit thankful for the chance he gave you to look at the belt with new eyes. Even if it was while flying one of the most garish ships in the belt's ever seen. 1 upgrade point, I need 2! And I just got another Xbox Game Pass achievement! Unlocked all the rig paint jobs. Yes, very good. Greenbelt paint, stock paint, hollow paint, or spindle paint. Let's go with the greenbelt paint, I think. See what that looks like. See, I kind of like that. It's just fresh. It's just nice, you know? Let's get a few mushrooms. Delicious. Delicious. Okay. Now, we're full up on supplies. We're almost out of fuel. So, we can't just zip down there. I'm going to go grab some fuel, and then we'll just zip down there. It'll be perfect. Here we go. Aloe vera. You find aloe vera exactly where Ankita said it would be. A ragged colony nestled in a crater in one of the biggest rocks of the shoals. Seraphim gets no response to his initial broadcasts, and so you find yourself in a docking tunnel. The rig at one end, the colony at the other, with no idea what awaits you. I need you to get back on that ship and keep flying. You freeze in the dark tunnel. A figure in front of you holding a long gun at their hip. I'm serious. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and as they do, you see a man. A boy, carrying a long dark shape in his hands.
I don't know how you found us, but you need to leave right now and forget this place.
Yeah, I think that's about right. You glance over your shoulder and see Seraphim, his hands raised in front of him in a gesture of calm. Look, kid, we mean no harm. How about you go and run and get something?
I am someone. I'm Xander.
He sticks out his jaw.
It's you. It's you I don't know. And I'll decide who's going to do some harm here.
He reaches across his chest and thumbs on a lamp he's lashed there. You blink at the glare of the bright light shielding your eyes, and as you do, you see a flicker of confusion crossing Xander's face. He meets your eye with a look of shock and opens his mouth as if to speak. No words emerge. We have something for Carmen. You notice the familiar name register with Xander, adding to whatever confusion or question your appearance has provoked. You see his eyes taking in your sleeper body, his gun dropping a little as he takes his attention off it. It is, he looks between you and Seraphim. Are you from here for Flint? Are you here for Flint? He pulls his gun closer to himself. I'll be honest, kid, we have no idea who you were talking about. Seraphim allows himself to drift a little forward. So how about you drop the gun and we can talk like adults? As Seraphim floats past you, he gives you a look that makes you nervous. We're just here to deliver something. Candence. Like condensation, condense.
Xander,
The voice echoes along the docking bridge.
Xander, what are you doing?
A figure appears at the end of the bridge behind Xander, a young woman clearly older than the boy in front of you.
Found these two trying to sneak in, Candace.
Xander keeps his eyes on you, and Seraphim, as he speaks.
Saboteurs, maybe? Was about to send them on their way.
Xander grins. I assure you we are not saboteurs, miss. Seraphim smiles at Candence. Candence, I don't like that. Candace, that's fine, but Candence, no. Candence sighs and glances towards Xander.
Stop messing around with that welder.
She snatches the gun out of Xander's hands, and as she does, both you and Seraphim reflexively flinch. Candence looks at the two of you with a raised eyebrow and turns the gun so you can see it better. You notice the fuel tank and welding muzzle. It probably has an effective range of less than half a foot. Seraphim looks at Xander and rolls his eyes. Seriously? Candence lowers the welder to her side and turns to Xander.
Now's not the time. We just got an emergency broadcast from Carmen and Flint. Something's happened.
Xander's attitude changes immediately. He turns to face Candence, putting his back to you as if you'd just disappeared completely.
What do you mean something's happened? I don't know. They went quiet on the shoals. All we got was a distress signal.
Candence raises her hands reassuringly.
Don't get excited. They probably just had a technical fault on the ship. But we should check in anyway. We have to get him.
Xander grabs the welder back and slings it over her shoulder.
On what, Xander?
Candence sighs.
They took our only functioning ship. The tender tide's still in pieces in the hangar.
Seraphim gives you a nudge and nods towards Candence and Xander. This is your chance. We have a ship. Xander wheels around in the tunnel, squinting at you in thought. Seraphim moves past you, approaching them. We need to see Carmen, and it seems like Carmen needs our help. He looks between the two of them. So how about we stop messing around in this dingy tunnel and go get your friend? Xander turns back to Candence.
Them? Really?
He rolls his eyes.
We're not the only people in Oliveira. There must be other ships. You want to go looking? They're here now.
Candence looks at Seraphim.
And they're generously offering to help.
She smiles sheepishly.
Fine, Xander folds his arms, but I'm coming with you.
Fine by us. Seraphim shakes his head and looks at you. Come on then. You both turn and head back to the ship, Seraphin whispering as you do. What kind of backwater has Ankita sent us to? He sighs. That kid thinks he's some kind of sheriff. Not used to visitors, I guess. He's just a kid. Tucked away in the shoals like this, I'm not surprised. What are they doing out here?
What are we talking about? Xander catches up with you and Seraphin.
His mood seemed buoyed by the prospect of boarding a ship. You wonder how often he gets to leave Olivera. You? Seraphin snickers. Xander looks genuinely hurt for a second.
Wait up.
You turn back to see Candence gliding up the tunnel.
I changed my mind. I'm coming too. Give me a minute to grab some supplies.
She glances at Xander.
Just in case.
Seraphin cuts in. I'll give you a hand. That all right, Sleeper? We'll be there in a second. He looks at you. You pause, but Seraphin doesn't seem to be waiting for confirmation. As he, Candence, head back to the dock. Aha, I think that's the second typo I've spotted. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, you're slightly thrown off by his eagerness to be helpful. This is the first time you've actually seen him be welcoming to anyone coming on board the rig. When you get back to the cockpit, you notice Xander looking wide-eyed at the consoles and switches.
Cool shit,
he grins. After a short wait, Candence and Seraphin come back into the cockpit. All loaded up, Seraphin pats Xander on the shoulder. Might want to strap in there, kid. Xander and Candence find a place to settle as Seraphin buckles himself into the flight seat. All right, he turns to Xander. Show us where to go. Okay, I guess we're just right off on it. Let's go. You head out into the shoals, the thick debris field that surrounds Olivera.
What's happening in here, Sleeper?
Bliss pokes their head into the cockpit as Seraphin brings up the ship in towards the signal coordinates Xander gave them. You look around the cockpit. Xander is tapping at the co-pilot console mounted in front of his seat in a haphazard way, while Candence is asking Seraphin about how the rig works. Surprisingly, Seraphin is responding with patience and care. They'll help us find Carmen.
If you say so.
Bliss looks over at Seraphin and Candence.
Is Seraphin smiling?
They shake their head.
Something's going on.
Bliss turns back to you.
Junie's working on the ship's wiring and won't respond to my messages. She's probably in the wall somewhere, hooked up in the main line.
They smile a weak smile.
I'm here, so how about you tell me what we're doing out in the middle of nowhere?
Quiet. Seraphin's voice cuts in through the chatter. Is that? He gestures out to the debris field at a sparking, ragged-looking shape tucked beside a rock. Xander rushes to the cockpit glass.
Carmen.
A moment of tense silence grips the room.
That's his ship.
You and Bliss exchange concerned glances. This isn't good. I'll bring her in. Seraphin's eyes are fixed on the wreck of the crumpled ship now. We don't know anything yet, so everyone's calm down. Xander's silent, his face pressed against the glass. Candence stares out at the wreck, her cheeks pale. No one speaks until the rig is brought into a stop. All right now, we're going out there. We'll have a poke around. Seraphin looks between Candence and Xander. We verify the ship, and we recover the crew. Seraphin gives you and Bliss a nod, and you both push off and glide towards the back of the cockpit. Suddenly, Xander pushes off the window and glides with you out of the cockpit.
I'm coming too. You need someone to identify the ship,
He stops and takes a breath. Of course. Xander nods to you. Tight-lipped and pale, you head to the airlock to suit up. Oh, I guess we don't get a choice. We're just getting these two. What are you good at, buddy? You are good at the thing we're all good at. Good job. Well done. Well spotted. Okay. All right. It looks like blue's going over here and green's going over here. Fantastic. Let's start with our people here. Wreck assessment. Good. Let's get one more out of you. Oh, no. Stress was not what I had in mind. No. Let's get one out of you. Maybe two. Let's get two out of you. No, we'll just get one. One is fine. Here. This is what it is supposed to look like. Two. See that? Everybody? Are we on board? That's a 2. And that's a 1. That's what y'all have been doing. You see the difference? You see the difference? We want 2 every time. Ploop, skadoop, laboop. I should have waited on that one, actually. I should have tried one of the ones first. Possibly gotten a stress. Actually, I'm just going to stress it up now. Yeah, there we go. Possible another stress. Here we go. Yeah, okay, double stress. Perfect. Because I can get rid of some stress later. And we can spend dice now to get more supplies to extend the amount of time that we get. Okay, that's a nice mechanic. That's a fun little thing. So there's absolutely no rush. Let's do this right, everyone. Let's do this one. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Possibly not. Possibly not. Perfect. Good. The search of Carmen's gutted ship has impacted the mood in the rig, as more and more evidence of an attack has appeared. The quieter Xander's gotten out, and the more Candence has retreated into the bunks. Now, with the search complete, you're gathered in the cockpit to discuss what's been found.
Come on.
Candence floats by the door, hugging herself against the cold.
Tell us already.
Xander's perched on the back of the seats, flicking at some hinged container he found in the wreck. Open, closed, open and closed. Explain carefully. You start by summarizing the search, talking around the details, picking your language carefully. You describe the damage to the ship, but not the attack. You talk about the occupants of the ship without mentioning what might have happened to them. Seraphin quickly cuts in. What Sleeper's saying, he gives you a look, is that the ship was hit with weapons fire. Badly. Then the drive was fired up and they attempted to flee. The drive burnt out and the ship, after hitting multiple rocks and bits of debris, came to a halt here. He takes a breath. We found no bodies. At the mention of word bodies, a shudder runs through those assembled.
When they're here, then they're here somewhere.
Xander has a steely look in his eyes.
And we find them, whatever state they're in.
He looks at Candence. She nods back at him.
Xander's right. We aren't leaving them out here. Carmen made Olivera what it is. He saved us. We won't come back without him.
She shivers and looks at Xander.
He would do the same for us.
Based on the damage to the ship, Seraphin begins.
They're almost certainly dead. We get it.
Xander cuts him off.
But there's debris trails leading away from the ship. I've seen them.
There are, Seraphin holds his hands out in a calming manner, but those could be from secondary explosions or depressurization. We picked the wrong trail, and it could lead us in circles, cycle after cycle.
Then we better pick the right one.
Candence has Xander's steely look now, too. She stares directly at Seraphin, challenging him to answer back. He sighs. Then that's what we'll do. He looks at you with resignation. Whatever happened here, you won't be leaving until you see its end. Oh, there's a bunch. Okay. There's a debris trail, the Sunward Trail, or the Starward Trail, or the Rimward Trail. Okay. It looks like blue's going to be helpful here. And here. And here. And green's not going to be helpful anywhere. Cool. All right, well, might as well risk it. Might as well go for it. We'll take the dangerous side and possibly get... Oh, no, that was quite a lot. That was quite a lot. Boom. All right. Then let's see here. Can we get a 3? To not break me. Yay. Oh, it did.
This isn't leading us anywhere, Sleeper.
Bliss's voice comes over the comms.
I'm sorry, but we have to call it.
You look out at the scattered debris gleaming in the sunlight. Bliss is right. This trail's going nowhere. If Carmen and Flint did head out from the ship this way, there's no way you'll find them. And if they didn't...
There are still more places to look.
Bliss interrupts your thoughts.
We won't give up on them yet.
You think of Xander and Candence and how they must feel right now. The search must continue. But not today. We're out of dice. Hard to explain to a computer character that we're out of dice. We need to go to sleep. Look at the dice we got. This 2 and this 4 are the most depressing dice we got today. All right, we're finding everything. Except you are garbage. You have no ability. But somehow, you're using your garbageness to get a little bit of stress. Cool, 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 cool. Cool. Love it. Great. I just need one positive outcome here to figure out if they're on the Rimworld Trail. The trail's dead, Sleeper. Seraphin sighs over the comms. It's going nowhere. You have to agree. Picking through the debris has been nothing but an exercise in futility, and now, coming to a dead end, you aren't even sure if there's anything to find out here at all. Loop back to one of the other trails, Sleeper. Seraphin pauses. We're going to keep going. What else can you do? You just hope for Xander and Candence's sake you find something soon. Well, last one. I'm wondering if it's just whichever's the third one you find, or if it's just they decide one and then it's that one. I don't know. But I don't need to know, because I've got 3 sure thing dice. And the third one's not even necessary. No. Okay, yeah, I should have known. Look, there's a thing here. It's this way. It is probably just the down one. Whatever is the down. Okay, you search the caves. I'm gonna risk a negative result. Ooh, 2 stress. No more negatives for you, buddy. And then I'm gonna push and get real stressed to get 2. Okay, everybody. Chill out. Take a breather. Oh, not the greatest dice. Bliss, what are you doing? Oh, hey, at least you've got this with no negatives. 3's a bit risky, but you've got a little bit of padding. Oh, and you didn't even need it. Very nice. All right, you come over here. We're leaving this 1 alone. That's garbage. So garbage. Oh, come on. There we go. Beautiful. When the Starward Trail led to the caves, a little hope was kindled in the hearts of the crew. But after plumbing the depths of these dark passages, that hope seemed snuffed out. Xander struggled on in silence, only speaking to update Candence on the lack of news via the cockpit comms link. But he speaks now. Quietly at first, and then with increasing urgency.
A light, Sleeper. I see a light.
And with that, he kicks off hard from the wall and darts down a dark tunnel with reckless speed. You follow, but the tunnels are winding, and you quickly lose Xander around a corner. You kick off from the same wall, trying to close the gap, but when you come around that same corner, you can't find Xander anywhere. And then you see it. Through a thin slit in the cave wall, a flickering, fading light. You cross over to it and see the scratches and chunks scraped out of the rock. Someone has dragged something through here. Contact Xander. Let's contact Xander. You click your comms to Xander's channel and call out to him. Nothing but static and silence greets you. A flashing red light on your comms panel suggests the signal isn't getting through. You push away some of the floating rock and squeeze yourself into the gap. As you do, you watch the light pulsing inside the cave, setting the cracks and shapes of the rock in sharp relief. You search those shadows for something recognizable, but the light source remains out of sight. And then you're through. You steady yourself against the wall and look towards the light. There, beside a fading emergency lamp, floats a body, its head instantly striking you as strange and misshapen. You know immediately that this must be Carmen. His head is shrouded in an emergency helmet, inflated around him like a balloon, while an oxygen canister floats nearby, attached by a tube. His eyes are closed, his body still. You try to settle your gaze on his chest to see the telltale rise and fall. And then the light catches something else. Something broken and skeletal nearby. A face with bright eyes watching you. A sleeper. Another sleeper. They watch you with lit irises, ones just like yours. Their torn face reveals no emotion. They pose, crouched, coiled even, like a spring ready to strike. You're both frozen, unsure, afraid. Nothing moves. Your eyes trace the damage to their suit, to their body. They look broken, worn down, and you wonder if this is how you look to others. If they flinch when they see you, as you feel the need to now. Carmen! Xander's panicked voice cuts through the silence. He rushes forward to the floating body, and as he does, the other sleeper pulls away from the wall, like a statue coming to life. For a moment, you go to intervene to save Xander from the skeletal figure, but the sleeper falls on Xander to embrace him, and Xander returns the hug. You float, stunned, watching as Xander begins to carry Carmen's body from the cave, with Flint, the sleeper, guiding him.
Carmen is stable.
Candence comes out from the room that's become a makeshift med bay. She looks between you and Seraphin.
Thanks to you.
And Flint? Candence pauses, choosing her answer carefully.
Flint is in there with Carmen. They seem to be functional.
She looks away. If that's what you mean. We should head back to Oliveira. Seraphin cuts in. He places a hand on your shoulder and steers you away towards the cockpit. Once you're out of earshot, Seraphin turns to you. Did you know Flint was a sleeper? No? Seraphin nods. He pauses. I don't want to be suspicious. I was just surprised, that's all. Seraphin glances back towards the medbay. They look different. What do you mean? I don't know, he sighs. Just something I wish they'd mentioned. I'll go get her started up. He pats you on the shoulder and heads to the cockpit. Let's just keep an eye on him, okay? He leaves you floating in the corridor, unsure of what to think. Flint is the first sleeper you've met since you escaped the program, and at this point, those memories are little more than fragments and fictions. As the rumble of the drive runs through the ship, you can't help but feel a little concerned for what this might mean. No, I can't. All right, let's leave. You're left alone with Xander and Seraphin in the docks, while Carmen is carefully carried from the rig by Flint, guided away into one of Oliveira's many tunnels and passages.
Okay, I believe you.
Xander shrugs his shoulders. Seraphin raises an eyebrow. Believe us how?
That you aren't saboteurs.
He shoots you a sheepish grin.
Although you never know.
I'd forgotten that.
I won't remind you then.
He winks. Tell me, kid. Seraphin folds his arms. Why are you so protective of this place? I mean, no offense, but who'd want to sabotage a tin pot colony in the middle of the shoals? Xander bristles at the comment, but controls his anger.
You don't get it. Olivera's a refuge. Why do you think we're hiding all the way out here?
He glances at you and back at Seraphin.
I'd have thought you'd understand. What's at stake here? You've seen Flint.
Seraphin pauses, unsure of how to respond. He looks embarrassed into silence.
Look,
Xander says, playing at the peacemaker.
You brought Carmen back to us. Everyone in Olivera will thank you for that. How about you stick around for a bit and get a feel for the place? If you need to resupply, we can help. We haven't got much, but if you chip in, we'll get your share.
He bows his head a little.
We're more welcoming than we appear. Just don't expect to buy anything with those chits of yours.
Xander puts his hands on his hips.
Olivera's not for sale.
Seraphin shrugs. All right, kid. He glances at you. We appreciate it. We need to hang around until Carmen's back up and awake anyway, and I think we'll be glad of the rest.
I'll see you around then.
Xander touches his brow in a salute, and then kicks away, floating out of the docks. Seraphin turns to you. A little shore leave doesn't sound so bad. I agree. Seraphin smiles. All right, then. He stretches. I'm gonna head into town, see what's happening. He winks and glides away into Olivera proper. You're left floating in the docks, unsure of what comes next. It doesn't seem like Lane is going to find you out here, so maybe this is the perfect time to take a breather. At least until you can bring Ankita's drive to Carmen. You turn that little thumbnail drive over in your pocket. Time to see what Olivera has to offer. All right. And we've got some good dice to see about that, and we will use those next time when I come back here on the BackLog. It's been a long episode, at least has been for me. I feel like we're reaching the end here. We're reaching the end. We've got 3 points to spend and only 2 more drives, and they look like we'll do this one and then this one, and then we'll be finished. Thank you all for joining me. I'll play it again later.